Why Israel and Palestine both call this land home.
History is rarely simple. When it comes to Israel and Palestine, there is no single story that everyone agrees on. Historians agree on many key events, but they often disagree on how those events should be interpreted. Different communities also remember the same historical events in different ways. This documentary is not about deciding who is right or wrong. Instead, it explores the historical developments that shaped the connections both Israelis and Palestinians have to the same land. The story presented here is based on archaeological research, primary historical documents, and the work of historians from different academic perspectives. With that in mind, let's travel back thousands of years.
Chapter 1. Before Borders.
Long before there was a modern state of Israel or a state of Palestine, this land was home to many different peoples and civilizations. Archaeological discoveries show that people lived here continuously for thousands of years. Around 3,000 years ago, the ancient kingdoms of Israel and Judah emerged during the Iron Age. Jerusalem became an important political and religious center for the Jewish people. For Jews around the world, this land holds deep historical, cultural, and spiritual significance. Many events described in the Hebrew Bible are associated with this region, including the first and second temples that once stood in Jerusalem. At the same time, history in this region continued to evolve, shaped by many different civilizations over thousands of years.
Chapter 2. A land that never stopped changing.
Throughout history, this land was ruled by many empires: the Assyrians, the Babylonians, the Persians, the Greeks, and later, the Romans. In 70 CE, the Romans destroyed the Second Temple in Jerusalem. Following another Jewish revolt in 135 CE, many Jews were dispersed throughout the Roman Empire in what became known as the Jewish diaspora. However, Jewish life in the region never completely disappeared. Historical records show that Jewish communities continued living in cities such as Jerusalem, Hebron, Safed, and Tiberias for centuries. Meanwhile, other communities also continued living, settling, and developing throughout the region. Rather than belonging to only one people, this land became home to diverse cultures, languages, and religions across many generations.
Chapter 3. The Rise of Palestinian Society.
In the 7th century, Muslim Arab armies conquered the region. Over the following centuries, Arabic gradually became the dominant language, while Islam became the majority religion. Christian and Jewish communities also remained part of the region's diverse population. Under successive Islamic dynasties, and later under the Ottoman Empire, cities, villages, farms, and trade networks continued to develop. Many Arab families lived in the region for generations, building communities, cultivating the land, and developing a shared local identity. By the late 19th and early 20th centuries, a distinct Palestinian national identity began to emerge alongside broader Arab nationalism. For many Palestinians today, this long and continuous presence forms the foundation of their connection to the land.
Chapter 4. Nationalism changes everything.
During the 19th century, nationalism transformed Europe and much of the world. Many peoples sought self-determination and independent states. At the same time, many Jewish communities in Europe faced discrimination, violent attacks, and deadly riots because of their religion and identity. In 1896, journalist Theodor Herzl published The Jewish State, arguing that Jews needed a homeland where they could govern themselves safely. This political movement became known as Zionism. Although Jewish communities had remained in parts of Palestine for centuries, the Zionist movement encouraged larger waves of Jewish immigration beginning in the late 19th century. Many Jewish immigrants viewed the land as both their historical homeland and a place where they could build a secure future. Meanwhile, many Arab residents increasingly developed their own national identity and believed the same land was their homeland. For the first time in modern history, two national movements were growing in the same territory. Both believed they had deep historical connections to the land.
Chapter 5. Two national aspirations, one land.
After World War I, the Ottoman Empire collapsed. Britain assumed control of Palestine under a League of Nations mandate. In 1917, Britain had issued the Balfour Declaration, expressing support for establishing a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine, while also stating that the civil and religious rights of existing non-Jewish communities should not be harmed. Balancing these two goals proved increasingly difficult. Jewish immigration continued to grow, especially during the 1930s as many Jews fled persecution in Europe. At the same time, many Palestinian Arabs feared becoming a minority in the land where their families had lived for generations. As both communities pursued their national aspirations, tensions increased and violence became more frequent. Then came World War II. The Holocaust claimed the lives of approximately 6 million Jews. The tragedy strengthened international support for creating a Jewish state. Many Palestinians, however, argued that they should not lose political control over their homeland because of crimes committed in Europe.
Chapter 6. One War, Two Historical Memories.
In 1947, the United Nations proposed dividing mandatory Palestine into two independent states, one Jewish and one Arab, while Jerusalem would be administered internationally. Most Jewish leaders accepted the proposal as the basis for establishing a state, although some were dissatisfied with its borders. Many Arab leaders rejected the plan, arguing that it did not fairly reflect the region's demographics and political realities. On May 14, 1948, David Ben-Gurion declared the establishment of the State of Israel. The following day, neighboring Arab states entered the war. For Israelis, these events are remembered as the War of Independence, marking the birth of their country. For many Palestinians, the same period is remembered as meaning the catastrophe, during which around 700,000 Palestinians became refugees or were displaced during the war. The same events created two national memories that continue to shape identities today.
Chapter 7. Why both call this land home.
So, who has the stronger claim? History does not provide a simple answer. Jewish people often point to thousands of years of historical, archaeological, cultural, and religious ties to the land, along with the modern establishment of Israel following centuries of persecution. Palestinians often point to generations of continuous residence, community life, and the belief that their families lived on and cared for the land long before the creation of the modern State of Israel. These perspectives are rooted in different historical experiences. They overlap, they sometimes conflict, and they help explain why this dispute has proven so difficult to resolve. This is not simply a conflict over territory. It is a conflict between two peoples who both see the same land as home.
Conclusion.
Understanding this history does not require choosing one side over the other. It requires recognizing that both Israelis and Palestinians have deep historical connections, painful memories, and legitimate national identities. History can help us understand how this conflict developed, but history alone cannot determine today's political or legal solutions. Perhaps the most important lesson is this: the hardest conflicts are often not fought over land itself, but over the meaning that land holds for the people who call it home.